Gay rights, Section 377 is our collective sin. One thing we Indians are extremely good at is detaching ourselves from misery, injustice, conflict. We go about our lives as if India's big problems don't exist. I am not judging us. It is the only way to cope in a country with so much misery and inequality. Another thing we are good at, as I discussed in my piece, Let's Talk About Sex, is not discussing any problems that have sexual angle. That this is a question why we still don't have reason, nuances, and rational rebates on crimes against women, and why many of us think sex education is a terrible thing. In all this denial and hypocrisy, we have buried and accepted a gross injustice that affects millions of Indians and clubs of our nation with some of the most backward, regressive regimes in the world. It is the issue of gay rights, or the infamous Section 377, that still exists in our law books and criminalizes homosexuality. This despite oodles of scientific evidence in the past decade about the existence of homosexuality as natural, and almost all medical and scientific experts believing that there is nothing abnormal or incorrect about being gay. How many people does it affect? Well, on homosexual populations are at around 20% across the world. And another data point to show that this is indeed a natural, consistent occurrence, not caused by cultural or societal factors. We label around 100 million Indians as criminals and go about our daily lives as if their concerns are irrelevant to us. To me, this is nothing short of a collective sin. Why is this happening? What can be done about it? And why should we, the selfish, chetan, and GDP growth seeking Indians, care? Homosexuality is a complex issue, with science unfortunately not being the only basis on which people have an opinion on it. There are religious, moral, political, legal standpoints involved. However, one thing is screamingly clear: there is enough reason to not criminalize homosexuality from any of these standpoints. Scientific evidence shows that homosexuality exists in nature. From a religious point of view, the orthodox stance is anti homosexuality, but many denominations of several religions accept or are neutral towards it. In Hindu religion, the stance ranges from positive to negative to antagonistic. The Rig Veda says, Vikruti evam prakriti, perversity, diversity is what nature is all about, or what seems unnatural is also natural. Morally, while you may argue that men and women are supposed to be attracted to each other and everything else is immoral, isn't it also immoral to take away someone's free will? Listening to the gay point of view, isn't it immoral to force a gay person to marry someone of the opposite sex and make him or her live a fake life? Isn't it immoral to crush the gay movement simply because gays are a minority? Accepting gay rights is only being sensitive to the genuine needs of a discriminated community. On that note, I would have one suggestion for the gay community. We live in a conservative country that needs to change, but change happens slowly. Any breakthrough in the gay rights should not spill out on the streets in the form of Western inspired gay parades or anything that presents being gay as being somewhat fashionable or cool. While you have the right to do so, please note that we have to nudge a conservative, almost hostile society towards change. If we freak them out, they will only withdraw further. Politically, there are a lot of conservative voters who vote for the BJP. While many BJP seniors are pro-decriminalization, they cannot go public about it lest opponents take political advantage of it. However, conservative BJP voters are also most loyal BJP voters. While a section of them may be upset with the move, they really have no choice to vote for anyone else at the moment. Which brings us to the last standpoint of legality. Section 377 is not an Indian law but an inheritance of British law. The same law with the same section number existed in over 40 colonies of the British Empire. Most of them have junked it or more modified it to decriminalize homosexuality. We have held onto it as if it is a part of India's cultural heritage, whereas it is nothing but a relic of an unscientific Victorian past. Of course, the final question is this: why should the selfish, non homosexual, growth seeking Indian care? Well, we should. Countries where minority rights are protected, moral viewing points are more modern and liberal, and laws change with the times to reflect global best practices and scientific discoveries tend to do better in terms of income growth. Most developed and free nations of the world accept homosexuality, as they should. If they want to be one of them one day, it is time to start behaving like we belong in the more modern world. Strong maturity rights, strong minority rights are evidence of justice in society. They show even the powerless are heard and protected. With justice comes a higher sense of investor confidence, which in turn leads to higher economic growth. So, gay or not, we need to do this. We need to remove 377. We need to move ahead in the world.